Hi, my name is Jana. I'm really glad that you found my channel. Today I'm going to talk about slow living and what a slow life means to me. I believe that slow living can mean different things to different people. Often it might mean working less, maybe growing some of your own food, homesteading, moving to the country, maybe even minimalism, getting rid of stuff you don't really need. And for me, slow life means a lot of those things, but first and foremost it means a mindset. I think that it's completely possible to move somewhere off-grid and start raising animals and growing vegetables and be completely stressed out. So those things don't really help you if you don't work with your mindset and start finding more balanced ways to think about things. So for me, slow living is a headspace where I try to live more consciously, more intentionally, more mindfully. Me and my husband moved here in the country something like 12 years ago. We have 2 kids. We live in an old house that was built in 1922. We live quite far from the neighbors. Many people who visit this place describe it as a secluded place because the road that leads here is very small and it's often in a bad condition, especially in winter. It gets easily blocked with snow. When that happens, we are just isolated here, or we have to call somebody to plow it. There are forests all over around us. I can literally walk into the forest in like a minute from my front door. I usually don't hear any traffic noises. The biggest roads are at least 10 kilometers away. We spend a lot of time heating the house, especially in winter. We carry wood, we chop wood, we do all of those physical things to keep us warm. But on the other hand, I wouldn't call our style of living very ascetic because we do have an indoor toilet and running water, for example. So, if slow living means a mindset to me, how do you achieve that mindset? For me, it's important to learn to stay in the present moment. Let go of all those worries that are circling around in your head and just take time to admire how the leaves fall from the trees in the autumn, or in the morning when I open the front door and I see that the sun is shining and the air is crisp and some birds are singing. I just take a moment to breathe in that air really notice how beautiful it is around me. And I think when you slow down the rhythm of your life a little bit, it's so much easier to see those little beautiful things around you. If you're constantly running and trying to achieve things, you might not have time to see those beautiful things in your life. And even though I don't think it's necessary to move to the country or live somewhere off-grid in order to live a slow life, it definitely helps, because you don't constantly have that hum of traffic around you. You don't see all the advertisements around you. You just have nature near you and silence. And you have space and more time to do things with your hands. You have the opportunity to grow vegetables if that's something you like to do. You can maybe even raise some animals. We only have a cat at the moment. We don't have any other animals, but I'm dreaming of getting chickens. And of course, if you move to the country, life can be less expensive. It's not true in every case, but for me here in Finland, it is true. What we pay for our living is a fraction of what we would pay for our living in somewhere near Helsinki, for example. And even though I think that work is important and I wouldn't want to downshift or just stop working altogether, I think it's important to find balance so that you have something else besides work in your life as well. And I think it's easier to forget about the stressing things about your work when you have this beautiful, peaceful environment around you. And if the cost of your living is lower, you don't have to constantly worry about paying for your mortgage or making the ends meet. You can focus on how you enjoy your work, and you have less pressure to just work for money. Maybe you can even have more possibility to do something creative with your life if the pressure of getting your bills paid is not so big. And in a sense, I find that prioritizing and doing less can sometimes lead to a better productivity in the end. If you just have the courage to let some things go, you might find that you're actually more productive in the things that you choose to do. And that can lead to a life that's not based on consumerism. You have other things in your life besides buying new stuff. And for me, one important aspect of slow living is trusting that things happen at their own pace. Everything doesn't have to happen fast. There's a time for everything, and I deeply believe in a process that sometimes you just have to wait for the results. You just keep doing, keep staying consistent with what you believe in, and eventually that will lead to some results. That might take time, it might be slow, but that's okay. And actually the results might be a lot better than when you just rush and try to get everything immediately. So for me, slow life also means trusting things, trusting the universe, and trusting that everything will be okay. That you have the right to be yourself, you have the right to be exactly as you are, so that you feel like you can be yourself and you are accepted as who you are. And what's important in slow living for me is having the courage to live a life that looks like you, making your own choices based on what your values are, what you think is important in life, or who is important in your life as well. You're not just running in some race. You can actually slow down a little bit to enjoy life So in that sense, doing less can lead to doing more of the things that you find important. And one thing about slow life is that for me it means also using less social media, leaving space for your own thoughts, trying to be more aware of your own feelings, being more conscious of them and accepting them, learning to accept what's going on inside your head and being okay with it. I used to be one of those people who was constantly trying to escape from their own mind. I was just filling my life with distractions, watching Netflix, using social media. But then I realized that that's not gonna take me anywhere. Those feelings and thoughts that are bothering me, they're always gonna be inside me, and they're not gonna go away just because I'm trying to avoid them. And they're just gonna get louder and louder if I don't hear them out. So slow living can also mean giving yourself time to hear your own thoughts. Spending the time in silence, maybe doing some little chores like knitting or chopping firewood. When you're less busy, you start to find more peace with yourself. Now I would love to hear what you think about this. Do you find slow living something to aspire for? Is it something that you find interesting? What does slow life mean to you? Do you think you can live slowly in your current life situation, or would you have to change something in order to slow down? So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, thanks for being here. See you in the next one. Bye bye!